Hey there, gaming enthusiasts! Welcome to Gaming Axia, your go-to source for all amazing action RPGs. 2025 is shaping up to be an incredible year for gamers, especially fans of action RPGs. With so many exciting titles, here are 20 brand new action RPGs you don't want to miss this year. On number 20, we have Tribe 9. It's a fast-paced action RPG with gacha mechanics developed by Akatsuki Games in collaboration with the creators of Danganronpa. Since it's a gacha game, it's free to play, and the gameplay mixes flashy 3D action battles with 2.5D pixel-style exploration. Players control a 3-character party, switching between them in real time. Each character has their own playstyle and abilities, with builds customizable through equipment, tension cards, and companion creatures called Patamon. At the end of the day, Tribe 9 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting free-to-play anime action RPGs in 2025. It's stylish, accessible, and packed with potential. On number 19, we have Coridden. Set in a strange but cool world where futuristic tech like computers and AI exist alongside swords, bows, and prehistoric creatures, the game instantly feels different, in a good way. You take on the role of a shape-shifting hero, able to transform into powerful reptiles after collecting the right DNA. The combat is where Coridden stands out the most. It's an isometric action RPG where you can swap between human and reptile forms during battle. Each form has its own abilities, and when one runs out of stamina, you switch to the other and keep going. It's a fun loop, especially when playing with friends in local co-op. On number 18, we have Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter. Just like the original, this 2D action RPG blends fairy tale storytelling with tough Souls-like combat, but this time the world feels even richer and more alive. You play as Arlo, the young heir of Winter's Edge, who sets out to rebuild his home and avenge his father after it's attacked by a deadly group of bats called the Darkwings. The combat is still tough and rewarding, but now Arlo can use elemental powers like fire, ice, and electricity. Enemies also have their own strengths and weaknesses, so you'll have to think about your gear and how you approach each battle. In the end, this game is a great sequel. If you loved the first Tales of Iron, there's a lot to enjoy in this follow-up. On number 17, we have Freedom Wars Remastered. Back in 2014, Freedom Wars gave Vita owners hope. It wasn't just another hunting game like God Eater or Soul Sacrifice. It stood out with a unique world, fast-paced gameplay, and strong online features that connected players like never before. And now, with the remastered version, we're getting a second chance to dive into that dystopian world once again. Set in a distant future where Earth's surface is uninhabitable, you play as a sinner, a prisoner sentenced to 1,000,000 years for simply existing. The gameplay loop ties in beautifully with the narrative. You complete missions, gather materials, craft better gear, and reduce your sentence. It never feels like pointless grinding. There's always something to work toward, whether it's new weapons, armor, or just more freedom. On number 16, we have Heroes of Hammerwatch 2. It's a fun, addictive roguelite action RPG that combines dungeon crawling, character leveling, and town building in all the best ways. Whether you're a fan of solo adventures or want to jump in with friends, this game delivers a solid experience that's easy to pick up and hard to put down. In this game, you will choose from 7 different classes like Warrior, Wizard, Paladin, or Rogue, then dive into randomly generated dungeons filled with enemies, loot, and power-ups. Each run feels fresh, with new enemy layouts and unique buffs or gear to find, and of course, like any good roguelite, if you die, you start over. But here's the twist. Every run helps you build up your town with permanent upgrades. On number 15, we have Ys Memoire: The Oath in Felghana. It's a fast, fun action RPG that proves you don't need to play every game in a series to enjoy it. It's part of the long-running Ys franchise, but you can jump into this one without knowing the others, and still have a great time. The game kicks off with Adol, the red-haired hero, arriving with his friend Dogi in a town called Redmont. Things aren't going so well there. Monsters are everywhere, a power-hungry count is stirring up trouble, and Dogi's childhood friend is missing. Of course, Adol jumps right in to help. The story is simple, but it gives you enough reason to dive into the action. This version is a remaster, so it's got cleaner visuals, a better soundtrack, and voice acting for Adol for the first time. It's not a full remake, but it's a solid way to play this classic. On number 14, we have Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree. It's a 2.5D action RPG with Souls-like combat and a dark fantasy vibe. From the moment you start it up, you know the tone. It's moody, gothic, and full of gloomy atmosphere. There are 6 classes in the game, and 3 were available in the preview: Vanguard, Spellbinder, and Nightshade. Each class plays differently, which is great for replay value and personal play style. And of course, the combat has that classic Souls-like rhythm. Hit, dodge, parry. It's a flow that feels almost like a rhythm game once you get into it. Looking at the preview, the game needs some fine-tuning, but with improvements to combat flow, pacing, and world building, Mandragora could turn into something really special. On number 13, we have AI Limit. It's an upcoming action RPG by Sense Games, and right off the bat, it gives off major Nier Automata vibes. You've got a post-apocalyptic world, some slick cyberpunk flavor, and a mysterious protagonist named Arisa on a journey to find hope in a broken world. The game follows the Souls-like formula, but here's where it gets interesting. Instead of the usual stamina bar, AI Limit uses something called a sync rate. The more you attack, the more this bar drains, and the weaker your hits become. To recharge it, you land basic hits or use items. It adds a nice rhythm to combat. You're encouraged to stay aggressive, but you still need to manage your resources. I have to say, the game looks incredibly promising, no doubt about it. On number 12, we have Lost Soul Aside. After nearly 10 years in development, Lost Soul Aside is finally launching on May 30th, 2025 for PlayStation 5 and PC. What started as a solo project by one passionate developer has now grown into a major title published by Sony under the China Hero Project. The game is a single-player action RPG set in a fantasy meets futuristic world. You play as Kaiser, a regular guy who ends up on a wild adventure with his transforming dragon companion, Arena. What makes Arena cool is that he can literally turn into a weapon during battle. Think fast-paced sword fights, slick combos, and flashy magic, all wrapped in a stylish, high-speed combat system. On number 11, we have Avowed. The game is a first-person action RPG from Obsidian, the studio behind Fallout New Vegas. It's set in a colorful new part of the Pillars of Eternity universe called the Living Lands. Don't worry if you've never played Pillars, you don't need to. The story stands on its own. You play as a godlike character, chosen by a mysterious deity, complete with a weird facial mark. You're sent to the island to stop a magical fungus plague that's warping the land and its creatures. At first, the world throws a bunch of names and politics at you, and yeah, it's a bit much. The early hours are kind of slow, with boring quest boards and fetch tasks, but stick with it, because the game finds its rhythm and becomes something pretty special. On number 10, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is finally on PC. And let me tell you, this is the best way to play one of the most emotional, action-packed RPGs in years. Yeah, the game has some slow parts and open-world filler, but when it hits hard. This is a game full of heart, character moments, and a soundtrack that'll give you chills. Furthermore, the combat in Rebirth is fantastic. It blends real-time action with a turn-based feel using the ATB system. You're constantly switching between characters, casting spells, and chaining abilities. It's way better than what we got in Remake. More party members, more spells, more freedom. Once you get the hang of the chaos, it's incredibly satisfying. On number 9, we have Tales of Graces F Remastered. Originally released on the Wii and then PS3, Graces F has been stuck on old hardware for over a decade. Now, it's back on modern consoles with a fresh coat of paint, just in time for the Tales series' 30th anniversary. This isn't a total remake, and that's a good thing. It keeps the heart of the original intact while adding quality of life updates that make it way easier to enjoy today. Tales of Graces F Remastered really feels like a time capsule from the early 2000s. The music swells, the characters are dramatic and hopeful, and the story moves like a roller coaster. It's not trying to be modern or edgy, it's just doing what classic JRPGs do best. On number 8, we have Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed has been shifting from stealthy action games to full-blown RPGs for years now. Yes, Shadows is packed with RPG systems. There are tons of weapons, outfits, massive skill trees, romance options, and more quests than you could finish in a month. On paper, it looks like an RPG. You get dialogue choices, but they're mostly meaningless. Pick one line and the character ends up saying both options anyway. Your choices don't really change the story or give you any real control. Ubisoft even added a canon mode that just decides the story for you. Like the game doesn't even trust you to make your own decisions. On number 7, we have the first Berserker Khazan. It's a brand new action RPG that plays a lot like the Souls games we all know, but with its own stylish twist. It's made by Korean developer Neopol, and after checking out the demo, I gotta say, it's looking really promising. From the very start, the combat just feels right. You dodge, parry, attack, and everything flows smoothly. The game has that snappy, responsive feel fans of games like Sekiro, Nioh, or Lies of P will definitely recognize. Timing your parries, finding the right moment to strike, and mixing up your weapons gives it a really satisfying rhythm. The game will come out soon on March 27th, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X or S, and PC via Steam. Don't sleep on it. On number 6, we have Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. This game is straight up fun. It's like an action-packed version of The Goonies, a group of misfits chasing treasure, getting into trouble, and growing along the way. There's a lot of comedy, chaos, and heart, all wrapped in that signature Yakuza energy. And, of course, we can't talk about Pirate Yakuza without mentioning the naval combat. Is it deep and realistic like Assassin's Creed Black Flag? Nope, but it's fun. You shoot cannons, dodge whirlpools, and fire rockets from your ship like it's no big deal. Upgrades include laser cannons and coconut machine guns, because why not? On number 5, we have Dynasty Warriors Origins. Dynasty Warriors Origins is back, and it might just be the best the series has ever been. The game takes the legendary Romance of the Three Kingdoms story we've seen 100 times and somehow makes it feel fresh again with huge battles, better combat, great storytelling, and a lot of replay value. Unlike past games where you jump between classic generals like Liu Bei or Cao Cao, here you play as one original character. Yes, he has amnesia, it's cliche, but it works. It gives the story a tighter focus, letting you see major historical events from one consistent perspective. And just what you would expect from a Musou game, the battles are massive. This game takes the classic 1 versus 1,000 fantasy and cranks it up. More enemies, smoother performance, and epic scale combat like never before. On number 4, we have Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN. Yes, this brand new Elden Ring is real, and let me tell you, this isn't just another DLC, it's a whole new game with a big twist. From Software finally built a co-op experience from the ground up, not the janky system we had before. NIGHTREIGN is a roguelike spin-off set in a parallel universe to the original game. Instead of creating your own character, you'll choose from 8 preset characters called Nightfarers, each with their own class, like mage, warrior, or assassin, and you'll need to work together to survive. You and 2 friends will team up and dive into a new land called Limveld, a mix of familiar locations with brand new areas and threats. The goal is to survive 3 full days and nights, battle through enemies, and take on powerful bosses. On number 3, we have Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. It's the sequel to Ender Lilies, but don't worry. You don't need to play the first game to enjoy this one. The story takes place years later, and honestly, this sequel improves on everything. The game is a typical Metroidvania, but what's interesting about this game is that your main attacks come from the homunculi you collect. You assign them to different buttons, and each one brings a new strategy. Sword slashes, ranged shots, counters, even healing. Some skills have cooldowns, so timing and planning matter in this game. And another amazing thing is that every time you beat a boss, you learn more about them through beautiful cutscenes. Their stories are emotional and add so much heart to the experience. On number 2, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's one of the most unique RPGs out there. It's not your typical fantasy adventure. No dragons, no magic spells, no chosen ones. Instead, it drops you deep into 1403 Bohemia, right in the middle of real medieval politics, war, and survival. If you're looking for a game that lets you swing a sword and take out 10 guys at once, this isn't that. Combat here is slow, tense, and realistic. And yes, even wearing armor the wrong way will get you laughed at. This game is serious about being authentic. It's not for everyone, but for those who love old school RPGs like Morrowind or Stalker, this is something truly special. On number 1, we have Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds is here, and Capcom has once again raised the bar for the series. After Monster Hunter World brought in a huge new audience and Rise gave us those speedy wirebug moves, Wilds takes that momentum and runs with it. Hunting monsters has never felt better. Every weapon is fun to use, combos are more flexible, and combat just flows. The new focus mode lets you aim at weak spots and deal bonus damage. And when you hit enough, monsters get wounded, giving you a moment to go all in. It's fast, flashy, and satisfying. The game is amazing, and with continued updates, it's shaping up to be a strong early contender for Game of the Year. And there you have it, fellow gamers. Which game is your favorite? Did we miss one that deserves a spot on the list? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more epic gaming content, and ring that bell so you're always up to date on the latest and greatest games. Until next time, and happy gaming!